Order! Order! Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are here today for the inquest into the allegations against Werner Heisenberg of active participation with the German Nazi regime during World War II. Professor Heisenberg is a German physicist who was head of a nuclear program during the war. His role and participation in this program will be judged during this trial. We will be hearing evidence from Professor Ball, Professor Heisenberg himself, and Professor von Nahr. Bohr is a Danish physicist. He was a colleague and friend to Heisenberg before the war. However, the relationship quickly deteriorated with the advent of the war and was irreversibly terminated by a meeting in Copenhagen in 1941. Von Nahr is a German physicist who refused any implications with the Nazi regime and therefore did not participate in any nuclear program. After the war, he was captured along with other physicists, including Heisenberg, and transferred to Farm Hall in England. This country manor was used by the British intelligence to observe the physicists who were secretly recorded. The defense lawyer, Sir Hon, will start the case against the prosecuting side. Lady Duran.
Thank you, Your Honour. The defence calls Professor Niels Bohr as a character witness. Good afternoon, Professor Bohr.
Good afternoon.
So, Professor Bohr, how do you know Professor Heisenberg?
We met in the summer of 1922 at a lecture I was giving in Göttingen in Germany. The lecture was to collected academics at the university as part of a series of lectures in my honor. Werner got up during one of the lectures and pointed out an error in my working, and he was obviously a very bright student, and I invited him for a walk after the lecture to discuss the matter further. Our working relationship went from there.
And you worked together after this, yes?
Yes, we worked together for several years on and off in the next decade, mostly on quantum theory.
So, would you say you know Professor Heisenberg well then?
Yes, as I say, we worked very closely for a number of years, but Werner also accompanied me on family trips to the country, and he stayed at the institute next to my home when he was working closely with me.
So, did you know about his work with the German atomic program then?
Yes, of course. Those who knew him, it was common knowledge.
So therefore, do you really think he was trying to build a bomb then?
I think he would definitely try and create a reactor to help his country win the war, which in essence could be seen as killing people. But to build a bomb and murder them directly, I think not.
Is it not true that he did take steps to help yourself and your institute during the war?
Well, yes. From a number of reports, he was actually instrumental in my own escape from Nazi persecution when he used his diplomatic channels to relay a message that I was about to be arrested. I fled to Sweden. But he also helped some of our colleagues in Holland and those in Germany improve the working conditions in Holland a great deal, and he helped many families of physicists who'd already fled Germany to seek refuge.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions, Your Honour.
Do you really believe Heisenberg considered fully what he was doing?
His work was always very thorough. I can't see why he wouldn't have thought the implications.
But is it not true that this is how he worked? He blindly looked for a solution without ever considering the consequences.
I think that is a little extreme, but yes, I suppose he sometimes worked like that. He was always quite happy as long as the mathematics worked. Sometimes the real physical meaning of what he was doing never factored into his approach.
Can you tell us about when Heisenberg came to see you in 1941?
Well, he had come to give a lecture on astrophysics at the German Culture Institute, which was part of the Nazi propaganda effort. Because me and Margaretha had not seen him for several years, we invited him over to their house for a chat.
And what did you talk about?
Many things. A horrible situation we were all in because of the war. He asked if I had talked to any of our friends in Britain or America. We felt seriously out of touch.
But you talked about fishing. You had both been working on it.
I believe it came up, yes.
And this is what caused your island?
I do not believe that. I don't think that I was actually that angry. This has been widely reported by a number of people, but I'm not sure. I mean, I did of course take his words with a very heavy heart, but because these were not light matters that we were discussing. However, it was more his disdain for the plight of the Danish people that caused me to something he expressed when he came to visit the Institute.
You deny that you fell out over the meeting?
I would not say that we really fell out. At this point, we'd not been as strong friends as we once might have been. I'd not seen him for maybe 10 years. He'd moved on and got his own professorship, his own students. You could say it was really the war that broke up our friendship.
But you'd fallen out in the past, yes, when you were still friends?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Professor Heisenberg has said that you drove him to tears over his uncertainty paper.
Yes. Well, I mean, we had our disagreements, and at that point we'd both been working very hard. Our work was strained, and we were both exhausted after many years. I only wanted his paper to be perfect, really, but he seemed to take it as a direct attack on his method.
Thank you, Professor Ball. No further questions, Your Honour? The prosecution would like to call Professor Heisenberg.
Wait until I go on.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
5 seconds.